So Y is a consonant if it's the first letter of a word or a syllable, usually a word. And that's the only time that it says y, with the back of your tongue just moving slightly toward the back of your throat. Y, y. That's the only time it's a consonant. Every other time you see Y in the word, it's a vowel. When it's in the middle of a word that's a Greek word, that's called a medial Y, and it acts as an I. When Y is at the end of a short word, it acts like a long I and says I. When Y is at the end of a multi-syllable word, it usually pronounces the long E sound and says E. AY comes at the end of words and it says A. OY comes at the end of words and it says OY. EY comes at the end of words and it says E. Let me put those last three. A, OY, E. Okay, you ready to practice? Let's do the first one together. Our first word is yibby. Yibby, we have y, I, b, e. Y is our consonant Y sound that comes at the beginning of words. I, b, e. So now that we have our consonants, let's spell our vowel sounds. I want this to say I is the most common spelling of the I sound. However, it cannot say I here because there's a vowel in the next one or two spots. Short vowels like I require two consonants after them. If there's not two, make two. The E sound at the end of multi-syllable words is usually spelled with a Y. You can tell a word is multi-syllable if there are two vowels or more that don't touch. Your word, yishti. Yishti. Y, I, sh, t, e. First of all, compare your lines and dots with mine just to get you started off on the right foot. Yishti. And then put your word in the Q&A for me. Yish. So for that sh sound, I'm thinking of the sound that shirt starts with, or short, or shy, or ship. Okay? Yishti. So feel free to change your answer. Yish. There we go. I knew it. Okay, so consonant Y we have here for spelling the Y sound. Here is our sh. Here we have our t sound, and then our vowel sounds are left. I. Can I say I here? Yes, because there are two consonants after it. E. The E sound at the end of a multi-syllable word is usually spelled with a Y. Okay? Next, cly. Cly together, k-l-I. For the k sound, we always use a C until I teach you different. That lesson is coming up in August. So we're going to use the k. We're going to use C to spell the k sound here. Ul, and then I at the end is never spelled with an I. It's always spelled with a Y. Let me say that again better. I at the end is never spelled with an I. You will never see that at the end of an American or English word. We're going to spell that sound with a Y at the end. And that's not only on short words, that's on any length of word. If you hear I, spell it with a Y. If you hear I at the end, spell it with a Y. So your word is I'm looking at this, but it's kind of easy. I'm going to see if I can make it a little more difficult. Bly try. Bly try. B-L-I. No, bly tie. Bly tie. B-L-I-T-I. Bly tie. Bly tie. You're welcome. Bly tie. All right, we have cacti, chili. questions. We'll talk about that in just a second. Blightie. Blightie. Yes. Yes. So consonants. We have B, O, I, T, I. So this I can say I right here just fine because there's a vowel in the next one or two spots. Whenever you hear I at the end of any word, you're going to spell it with a Y if it's an American or English word. So somebody in the chat was like, well, what about alibi or cacti or chili? This, I believe, is chili a Spanish word? Chile? I think so. These probably come from another language of origin. So American or English words do not end in I, but we have and we use a lot of other words that do end in I, but they are derived from other languages. All right, so this next word, I want it to be a Greek word. So you know if it's a Greek word, then they don't use they don't use I's in the middle. If it's a Greek word, they do not put I in the middle of the word. They use a Y to spell an I sound in the middle. So together, our word is bimpe, bimpe, b-i-m-p-a. Consonants, b-i-m-p-a. Vowels. For the I sound, since this is Greek, I'm going to use a Y. And for the A sound, we never put an A at the end to spell the A sound. We always put an AY because A at the end says We don't want we want A. A at the end is spelled AY. Your word is crimsay. Remember to spell the K with a C. Crimsay. It's Greek. K-I-M-S-A. Crimsay. Yeah, put it in the Q&A when you've got it. Crimsay. Nice. 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 It's Greek. It's a Greek word. Good. Good. Does this seem easy for you now? You have never spelled crimsay before in your life, but you're like, piece of cake. Oh, it's Greek. I got this. You're learning so much. I love that spelling is seeming easier for you now. I believe because of how well you're doing here. All right, so consonants. We have k, I, m, s, a, I. In Greek words, we spell the I sound with a Y. A at the end is spelled AY. Easy peasy for you because you know how to do it. Let's send you off on your own now and step it up just a little bit. Yeah, you ready? Yipistoi. Yipistoi. Y, I, p, I, s, t, oi. Yipistoi. Yipistoi. Thank you for the compliment. They mean a lot. Yipistoi. Very good. Yipistoi. Beautiful. I love this. I love this. Wow. I at the beginning. Yipistoi. So close, so close. There we go. Okay. Wow. I'm authentically impressed here. So, y is our consonant Y. I, p, I, s, t, oi. I want this to say I here, can it? No, because there's a vowel one or two doors down. I is a short vowel which requires two consonants after them. If there's not two, make two. Now I can say I. I right here already has two consonants after it, so we can say I just fine. We don't have to double the S, there's already two there. Oi at the end of a word is spelled O-Y. Yipistoi. Yay! Try this one. I want this to be Greek, okay? Is that in there? Did you hear? Greek. This next word is Greek. Drimpe. Drimpe. D-R-I-M-P-A. Drimpe. Drimpe. Nice. You guys have got Y down. You can go and teach Y now. You can go and be a spelling tutor now. You've got this so well. Drimpe. It's Greek. Greek. Dr at the beginning. Drimpe. Drimpe. There we go. Nice. Okay, so consonants. D, I, M, P, A. Since it's Greek, I'm going to put a Y here to spell the I sound. AY is how you spell the A sound at the end. Drimpe. Now, you are probably the only person on your block that knows what that Y is doing there. Everybody else grows up thinking that Y says yeah, right? If you asked a person on the street, what does Y say? They'd say yeah. And you would be tempted to say, hardly ever, almost never does Y say yeah. Only a very rare amount of times does it say yeah, if it's the first letter, which doesn't happen very often. It says I, E, or I. I in the middle, E and I at the end. So you know what's happening with this Y. Most people don't, so well done. Okay, let's keep going. You're doing fine, so we're gonna keep the challenge level up here. Yidemploy, yidemploy, y, I, d, I, lips together there. P, o, oi, yidemploy, yidemploy. Yidemploy. Make sure that you have the same number of letters or sounds. Yidim, lips together. Wait, I don't think I have the right number. Y, I, d. No, I don't. Y, I, d, I, m, p, o, oi. I had the right number, but the wrong one's dotted. I am sorry about that. Yidemploy. Nice. Does anything phase you anymore? Yidemploy. Okay, consonants. We have our consonant Y. Y, I, D, I, M, P, O, oi. I. Can an I say I in this spot? No, because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors away. I is a short vowel. Short vowels require 2 consonants. If there's not 2, make 2. Now it can say I there. I, right here, this I can say I just fine because there are 2 consonants after it already. Oi at the end is spelled O-Y. Yidemploy. Yidemploy. So from what I saw in the chat, that one was a little more challenging. But if you get it when I do it, then it's getting into your brain. Okay? Y, I, d, employ. Yidemploy. Let's do 1 or 2 more. Let's do a medium one this time. Let's do a Greek word, okay? Greek word, Greek. Spelling a Greek word. What does that mean? You know what it means? Climbre. Climbre. K-O-I-M-B-R-A. Climbre. Climbre. I gotcha, Daryl. Climbre. Beautiful. Yes, it's Greek. Well done. You remembered. It is hard to know, my friends, if a word is a Greek word or not. A lot of times they have to do with science and medicine. Think of a word that has a Y in it, and it probably has to do with science or medicine or something that sounds a little academic. If it sounds like an academic word, like dyslexia or they're usually longer. They're not usually simple, regular words. Then it's a Greek word. That plus your subconscious might tell you, you know what, I think that word has a Y in it. Then yeah, it probably does. And now you'll know why, what to do with it when you get to that I sound, you know that that's where that Y is. So, climbre. K, o, I, m, b, r, a. Since it's a Greek word, this I is going to be spelled with a Y. A-Y at the end spells the A sound at the end. Climbre. Good. Okay, last one. This one's going to be a little more on the easy side just to send us off from Y month with happy thoughts, positive feelings. Your word is shippy. Shippy. Sh, I, p, e. Shippy. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Shippy. Good. You're like, come on, that was so easy. No, not really. It is just for you. It is for you. If you have a question, go ahead and throw it in the Q&A. Shippy, yeah. I like how sometimes you guys break up the words so that autocorrect won't sabotage your answer. Shippy, shippy, shippy. So we have sh, I, p, e. In order for this I to say it must have two consonants after it. The E sound at the end of a multisyllable word is usually spelled with a Y. Shippy. Shippy. And if you didn't get that, it was probably because you didn't hear me very clearly. And you probably got it when I spelled it. You're like, yeah, that's how you spell shippy. So congratulations, you now know so much about Y. When it is a vowel, when it is a consonant, when it is Greek, when it says I, when it says E. I really believe that you could teach this to others and blow their minds. That's amazing. So happy that you made it to June and you got to learn all about Y. Join me on Wednesday and we're going to learn all about what happens to those vowels when an R gets in there or when a W gets in there. They're going to try to control those vowel sounds, but we're going to master it. We're going to figure it out. All right, my friends. See you later. Bye, everybody.